Happy Wednesday. Thank you for joining me here. Tonight we're continuing on the Be Kind Embroidery of the Month. This is the Penguin and Fish Embroidery of the Month, and we're going to continue stitching with some chain stitches tonight. So thank you for joining me. My name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make cute embroidery kits for the beginning crafter. And I am here every weeknight at 8:30 p.m. Central Time. That's 9:30 Eastern and 6:30 Pacific. It's a time that we can relax and craft together for about an hour here. And I work on projects from beginning to end, so you can be part of the entire, you can be part of it along the way and join me for the whole thing and work on it as well if you like, or just come and chat. So thank you guys for joining me here again. We are going to work on that reverse chain stitch is what we're going to work on today. Yesterday we did just the normal chain stitch, and that's right here. We did it using the sewing method and the stabbing method of embroidery. Stabbing is where you go all the way down, pull the thread, and then come all the way from the back to the front and pull the thread through. Whereas sewing, you're going in and out of the fabric in one move. So there's benefits to both and drawbacks to both, but I showed you how to do that with the chain stitch yesterday, so check out yesterday's video. This pattern is available until the end of the month, so that's when we'll be doing that. And I have news on Saturday. So Saturday we will be doing a live stitch along on YouTube, so we are attempting to give YouTube Live a try. And we are going to be stitching the free squirrel pattern. And I've listed that below. There's a link to the squirrel pattern, and there's a link to the YouTube page at Penguin and Fish Movies. Be sure to click subscribe, and then the little bell that pops up after you click the subscribe. That will be at 3 p.m. Central Time, so that's CDT. So 3 p.m. CDT is when the plan is to do this. So I'll put a little reminder up, and I'll be sure to send something out about it as well. So just wanted to let you guys download that pattern with enough time and to print it, or maybe we'll try and trace it from the iPad. That would be kind of interesting to do. So that is available in the link below here as well. So awesome, you guys. I'm going to flip you around. Let's get stitching. Okay, so again, I have my iPad here with the pattern pulled up, and we're still working on these chain stitches here. So the thick lines are the chain stitches, and we're doing them in the yellow color. So we have that little head that we're doing now. All right, and here is where we left off. Hello, everyone. Oops, hold on a sec. I'm gonna drop a little too far there. Okay, there we are. All right, so yesterday we finished up a wing, and then we did all the black here, and then we also did that yellow chain stitch. So I'm going to show you an easier way to do the chain stitch. It is super fun. I kind of am in total love with it, and it's the reverse chain stitch. So we went from here to here yesterday. We're going to do basically what the opposite is. So we're going to stitch a tiny little stitch first, and then stitch all of our chain stitches backwards. And it's really fun, and it does make chain stitching a little bit easier. So I have some thread. This is the other half of our yellow thread from yesterday. I just tied a knot in here, so I'm going to, there we go, almost out. There we go. All right, so let's weave in our ends. Oh, you got your iron, Amy. That's awesome. Let me know how you like it. It is my favoriteest thing ever, that the cordless iron is pretty amazing. All right, I'm going to weave in the ends just to get my thread started. Oops. A little too far there. Got too excited to get going. There we go. Oh, you haven't plugged it in yet, but you will. I just love it. Just to, even working on big projects where you, gosh, don't have that cord everywhere, or even if you're just pressing shirts or something, that, not to have that cord is amazing. All right, our 3-time weaving back and forth kind of locks everything in place. So let's pick a spot to start. Where's my thread on the back here? Okay, my thread is on the right side here. I think we'll just start right here. And how we're going to start is just by stitching a tiny, tiny, tiny stitch. So we're just going like maybe a couple threads, 1 or 2 threads next to it. And I'm going to leave it so it's not completely stitched through. So let's just leave like that much of a loop there. And then I'm going to go a stitch length away, kind of the size that I want my chain stitch. So again, a little bit more than 1/8 of an inch or so is kind of where I go. And I'm going to pull that through, but I'm going to now go through that loop. All right, so I'm going through that loop, but now I'm going to pull that loop tight. So I'm just going to grab that part of the thread that's coming out that I just stitched. I came out of the back right there. I'm going to pull that so that that first loop gets tight against the fabric. See, like that? So I pull that tight, and now I'm going to pull this thread the rest of the way through, and we will go back into that hole right there. So what we just basically did was make the end of a row of chain stitches, but like in reverse, right? So we made our anchor stitch, and then we put the chain kind of through it. So now here's where it gets really easy. So we have to do that little weird starting thing, kind of locking down a loop like that. But now I can just go the next spot up, right? And now I can just swoop the whole needle under those 2 stitches and through and then back down, and that is our next chain stitch. So there we go. So this method, this reverse method of doing the chain stitch, lets you not have to do like this big loop that you gotta get. Your thread isn't all over everywhere. You just have to swoop under. We're still letting them be kind of loose. We're not tightening them super a ton. And the fun thing is you can swoop under whichever side you want. So like now it's more comfortable for me to go like this way. So I'm just going to swoop under that way. There we go. So reverse chain stitching, I just think it is an easy way to do chain stitches where your thread isn't flying all over the place. So it's fun. I'm going to actually go upside down here just because, again, it's most comfortable for my hand. I like feeling the stitches back here. Oh, you forgot to do it this way. Refreshers are great. Yep, I love this method. It's newer to me. Kathy, I think it is easier. It's newer to me, so it's not like where my brain goes at first to do the chain stitch, but it definitely is easy. Show the beginning again. I'll show you right here. So we started with a tiny, tiny stitch, and then we went here, and then we stuck our needle through that tiny stitch. So it's almost as if, if we were going the normal direction, if we were going this way, that would have been our last little anchor stitch to hold down the stitch. Kind of like, here's the one from yesterday stuck underneath here. See? So right under that stitch, right there is the anchor stitch that held down this loop from yesterday. We're basically just, instead of doing it last, we're doing it first. That's the only difference on this. So that's the kind of like little weird goofy part, but after that, it's just the easiest thing ever. So we're swooping under. Yeah, I definitely like doing it this way. I think I gotta tighten my fabric in here a little bit more. All right, so I'm just gonna go around it and around here. I don't think this will take very long at all. And then I think let's hit the rest of the little black details on this bumblebee. And then we can move on to the border stuff. That'll be fun. But yeah, I'm excited for this weekend. I'm excited for Saturday. I think that'll be kind of fun to do that live. And again, we're doing it on YouTube, so that'll be interesting. Um, Amy's asking if when I'm done stitching for the night, if I release the hoop or do I leave it in? Like, do I take it out of the hoop or I leave it in the hoop? I recommend taking it out. I have been lazy and have not taken it out yet, so I'll take it out tonight. I recommend taking it out just because then we're not getting a super permanent crease in here or anything. We're going to be wetting this down and everything, so I'm not too worried. But yeah, you could, especially if you're using like a linen, having it being in the hoop and having this like fold going for so long can kind of crease your fabric pretty well. So I do like to take it out of the hoop when I'm done stitching for a session of stitching, and let it just kind of relax itself. Although, like I said, I've been lazy and have not done that yet for this project. So tonight I will stop being lazy. Another thing you could do if you're worried about your fabric creasing is you could wrap your hoop. And let's see, oh yeah, I do have a wrapped hoop here. Let's just take a look at that quick. All right, so this is a hoop that I have wrapped in fabric. So you can see I've just kind of wrapped just some excess fabric that I had, and I think I sewed once I got to the end. Let's see. There we go. Here's my last little thing, and I just kind of stitched it. Come on, focus. All right, I just stitched it. I just stitched the little edge right there. So just any scrap fabric, wrap it around. And what this does is it makes more of a rounded edge for like this fabric to be against. So it's not such a harsh, harsh like angle how you get with a hoop. So that's another option. It's nice having one of these wrapped hoops laying around. You can actually wrap the outer hoop as well, but I find that sometimes makes it too fat, and it's hard to, like, the closure doesn't go that big. But I do like having this wrapped hoop around, especially if I'm going to use like a fancier fabric. Like if I would use a linen fabric or something that creases a little bit more easily, I might use this hoop instead. Just because I've wrapped it all ready to go. But yeah, I recommend taking it out of your hoop when you're not working on it, just because it reduces that like permanent crease. But if you're washing it and if you're going to use it as like a tea towel or anything like that, I wouldn't worry too much about it because, I mean, once you get it wet, I think it'll all kind of relax a little bit. Ooh, I think I'm going to have just enough floss again here. Oh, this is just, it really is more relaxing and maybe even a little speedier. Actually, I'm exactly sure it's speedier doing this reverse chain stitch. Again, it's just not my initial thinking because it's something I learned later. But really, I mean, I should use this as my main go-to. It's just fast and easy, and I like it. Ugh, I want to do a piece that's all chain stitch. That would be fun. I'm gonna have to come up with something for that. I mean, that's kind of what my look. I accidentally caught a little piece of this blue thread, so I'm going to take that stitch out. Whoops. But for my first Splendid Sampler block, I was one of the designers for the first Splendid Sampler, and that block I did embroidery on it, and it was all chain stitch because I wanted to make it look like a doily. So that one is actually all chain stitch. All right, we are getting to the last stitch here. And all we have to do is come up in the middle. Oh, here we go. We got to come up in the middle of our loop there, just kind of like on the other side of that anchor stitch. We're going to actually hide that anchor stitch a little bit. So we're going to go up right there in that last little loop. You know, do our little twist around, our loop around, and then back down in that hole. And there, it looks like we have a continuous circle of thread. Like you can't even see the anchor stitch because we covered it up there. So there's like no beginning or end to our little head right there. Yay, it looks so nice. I love it. All right, so let's weave it in. Weave in those stitches. Oh, it looked realistic too. The doily. That's what I love about the chain stitch. Well, that's what I was saying last night, that one of the reasons I love the chain stitch so much is that it looks exactly like a crocheted chain stitch. So I just kind of went with that idea and made an embroidery that looked like a doily. Because you kind of can with that chain stitch. It actually looked a little bit more like tatting, and I do agree. I reduced, it wasn't quite a true doily, how you'd crochet a doily, because it would have just been like so many stitches with the embroidery floss, and it would have looked like, it would have just been so dense with stitches. So I kind of edited out some loops and stuff, so really it actually did look more like tatting than it did look like crochet, but well, that's fine. Oh, you love that splendid sample block. Oh, that's awesome, Debbie. Oh, yes, nothing like grandma time, exactly. All right, there we are, little bee. Oh, I love those stitches. I love, love, love doing chain stitches. I'm kind of sad, actually, that chain stitches are done. We do have all these lazy daisies, though, but when you get a whole row of them together, that's just fun to do. I like that. Okay, next up, we have a few parts left to do on this little bee here. Gosh, I might stitch the face in a way, it's going to be a little annoying thing to do, but I might do it in a way where we're not jumping from one place to another. So we might do a lot of little away knots with the face. Oh, that's a little annoying to do, but I think the effect will be nice. You won't be able to, especially with some thin fabric like this. I didn't put any stabilizer or anything like that, so there's nothing hiding when I jump from one place to the other. There's nothing hiding those stitches on the back, especially with some like kind of thin, delicate fabric, kind of see-through-ish fabric like this. So I'll do that now. I'm gonna stitch these little face bits in a way where you won't see any of those jumps. It's going to be a little tedious, but I think in this case it's worth it. So first of all, I'm going to grab more floss. I ran out of my black floss, so let's get 3 more strands out of here. Just kind of separating it strand one by one. And lastly, I'm still using, drop that one. I'm still using 3 strands of floss. There we go. That one didn't want to come with me, but there we go. It still just loosens all nicely. All right, let's match those up. Okay. So one thing, you guys, when we do the YouTube live, if you want to chat, you'll actually have to sign up to make a channel. And that sounds dangerous. Like, that sounds like you're doing a whole thing. But all it really is like making an account. They just call it, instead of like making like a Facebook account, a username, they're calling it a channel right away. So all you're doing is making a username. So I think all you have to do is type in, I don't know, probably your first name and email or something like that. And then that's all there is to it. Then you'll be allowed to chat, but you'll be able to see everything regardless if you chat or not. And I'm going to dig into this stuff a little bit more so we can all be prepared on Saturday. All right, so to get all this face stuff without jumping around, that means I'm going to do away knots again. So that means I'm going to tie a little knot. I want to go about 4 inches away. This is going to waste some floss, but I think it's going to be worth it. And now I'm going to come up. So we're going to do this French knot. We have so many French knots to do, so we'll go over how to do French knots some more. But how I like doing it is I come up on one side of my circle. Then I hold the thread it's like coming out of his eyeball there. And then I'm going to bring my needle around so I have kind of this loop going, and I'm going to point the needle away from the fabric. So it's going away from the fabric. And then I'm going to, where I'm holding it about 2 inches from where it's coming out of the fabric there, pointing the needle away, I'm going to go around twice. And then I'm going to hold those loops with my finger. And then I'm going to point the needle back towards the fabric. So now I'm pointing towards the fabric. I'm going to go on the other side of that circle. I'm going to go in about halfway so I get like all these loose loops here. I'm going to pull them tight. I'm still holding onto the needle. And now I'm just going to put my thumb on top of that and those loops so they don't come away, and then pull. And there we go. There's our little French knot. So let's see. Oh, you know what? I usually do knots, or I usually do my eyes a little bit different so I have more to weave in. So I'm just going to kind of try and weave, and I'm going to tie a little knot really. And I'm going to weave in the stitches within that knot. Let's do that again. Yeah, usually I wouldn't do this with a French knot, but we're gonna play around with it. So I'm gonna weave in my stitches. This is a little bit of a struggle, but we're gonna see how it goes. It's gonna be kind of a big knot on the back, but we won't have those stitches going around. So there's that. Let's snip that. See how this works. Yeah, usually I stitch my eyes with a little circle, not a knot, so I have a few more stitches, but that's looking good. Oh yes, YouTube is free, totally free, and it works much smoother than Facebook typically. All right, I'm trimming that away knot now. That's garbage. And so now we're left with that little bit of thread left. And I'm going to do that. I can't ever pick these up. There we go. Oh, you know what I just did to pick this up? So I'm trying to scrape, like I'm trying to grab this needle, but the point is right here. If I just push down on the point, it kind of lifts it up a little bit. Boop, there. Then I can get it off the table. All right, so let's thread this end. Oh, a loop start when doing a French knot. So that's a good idea. I'm doing 3 strands, so that's doesn't quite work, but yeah, we should talk about loop start sometime. So, all right, I'm making kind of a big knot on the back. This was probably not a great idea. I had in my head that I was doing it like I normally do, but I don't normally do French knots here. But we still actually don't have that jump. So if we look at it from the front, it still just kind of looks like the French knot. And I'll show you the difference. So I'm going to do this French knot, and then we will do the little mouth. So we'll have a little bit of a jump, and we can see what that looks like. So if you don't think this is worth it, then you can always do this with a little bit of jump. And I know some people also put like a stabilizer behind their fabric, and that would be another way to block out stitches so you don't see any jumps. But I rarely do that. I actually don't even have a good recommendation for what to use for that. That would be something to try sometime, but I rarely use a stabilizer. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to start with a little away knot here. And let's get that French knot going again. Oh, Robin, we're supposed to have rain and like cold, windy rain, I think, tomorrow as well. And then I think we're supposed to, it might even be snow, and then I think it's supposed to get chilly again. So that's a big bummer. I went for a tiny little bit of a walk today to try, and just because I knew it was going to be bad. But I don't know, I wish I did a little bit longer. All right, so now instead of tucking in the little threads there, I'm going to jump down to this mouth. And I'm going to stitch the mouth, and then you can see what I mean by the jump. Yeah, right here. I don't know if you guys can tell. There you go. So now you can see I have the thread behind is going from here to there. So, you know, and this still isn't really that bad, even though it's kind of wonky on the back. It's still pretty secure. And from the front, you're not getting that jump like how you do here. You're not seeing that black line. But, you know, they're both totally fine too. It's not going to kill anyone with, not going to hurt anyone with having that little line there. The quilt police won't come and get you, so it'll be just fine. But just two different ways that it can look. All right, so let's weave in this end, and then I also have to weave in that end there. But look at his little smiley face. Oh, the SF 101. That's the backing that people like using. All right, let's tie that off. Okay, and then I like snipping it from the front. Let's snip off the knot here. And let's weave in that end as well. So there you can see that jump right there. It's going to look kind of like a winky eye on the back. All right, let's weave in these ends with these little mouth stitches too. Okay. And one more little stitch. All right, there we go. Let's clip that away and we can move on. So next up, we have a few little stitches to do yet on the bee. We have his little stinger, and that's black, and then we have the antenna with a little French knot at the end. And, you know, I do have some of this black thread left here, but I'm going to I have that other half of it split. I'm going to just use this big piece because it's going to be easy to use, and I'm not going to waste anything because there's no other black except for those little parts in here. So it's not like I'm going to waste stuff that I was going to use anywhere else. So I'm going to use this longer piece. All right, let's do this a little bit here. I'm going to weave in the end and just go boop boop, and that's it. So a little weaving in the ends. So it seems like a lot to do for just that little bit, but It's cute. I like the little stinger guy. All right, so I'm going to actually start at the bottom tip here. And then I'm going to like glide the needle underneath the stitch because I don't want it to go on top of the stitch. I want the yellow to feel like it's on top. So I'm going to kind of tuck it underneath and get that stitch just like that. So let's do that for the other side as well. Just going to tuck the needle underneath those stitches again to get to the back. There we go. All there is to that. So let's weave in the ends again. You could travel up the side to get to the next part here, but it's a dark color and I don't want it to totally show through. And I think I'm actually wasting less thread by weaving it in because that's kind of quite a bit of a ways to travel all the way up to here. All right. And then let's weave in the ends right here right away, and then we'll do these little loops, these little antennas. Let's get this guy. And all right. Gonna do some back stitches up here. So again, right here, I'm gonna do that tuck as well. So I'm gonna just kind of tuck it underneath that stitch. There we go. I kind of jumped a little weird there, but oh well, that's okay. I'm not gonna worry too much. I think this is a good 4 stitches. And then a little French knot on the top. Yeah, I hope you're, I don't know who said that they're not feeling great, but I hope you feel better soon. With all this stuff, unless it's super duper serious, you know, whether it's the flu or COVID-19 or anything, whatever it is, in the end, unless it gets so serious that you're having a hard time breathing, in the end, you just have to wait it out, it sounds like. So whether you have it or not, or whether you get tested or not, it's still going to be about isolating yourself and waiting it out. And I mean, like, if you have the flu, you should be isolating yourself anyway, sort of thing. But yeah, not fun. Not fun. Hope you feel better soon. All right, so I'm traveling along this edge here to get to the next part, next antenna here. All right, let's tuck underneath there. And we'll do another 4 stitches here. And a little French knot, and then we will have Mr. B done. Then we can start on a different area here. All right, little French knot, and that's that. Oop. There we are, little guy. All right, let's weave in the ends. And I think trying to kind of think through what I want to work on next. I think I'm going to do the little honeycombs. For no reason other than I think they're fun, and that will be the last thing stitched in yellow, so that would be like a whole something done, which makes me happy. Like right now, this is the last of the black for the pattern. So we're finishing the bee, and it's the last of the black. So there we are. Okay, so I'm going to tighten this a little bit. All right, so the next parts, I think I am going to just do these little honeycombs, and those are just a back stitch with some yellow. So we're going to get all our yellow done and out of the way, which is great. And I actually think I might weave in the ends here and then just jump over here. Yellow won't be so visible from the front compared to like the black. There we go. 2. Three. Okay, let's get these 3 back together. And yeah, I'm just going to weave in those ends and then start it up. All right, there we are. I don't have to be so perfect at getting them together, but oh well. There we go. I'm pressing up on there. I'm pressing up on the tip here. Oh gosh, there we go. This way. So I can grab it off of the table. All right, so I'm going to weave in right here, and then we'll just do this. I think each of these I can do in 2 stitches. I'm going to just do 2 kind of biggish stitches. Ooh, you're making bread tomorrow. That sounds amazing. I was thinking about that. I wonder if I'm not sure I have anything to make bread. We're not big bread eaters, but it just sounds like a fun project. And I like the smell. And I like the idea of making it. All right, so I'm going to start right here. I'm just going to leap from here to there. And we will just head around this guy and stitch just a bunch of back stitches, I think. I wonder if there's some way I can map this out to get around. Maybe I can treat it like a funny like ring thing. And so because if I keep stitching around here, then I'm going to end up all the way back here and I'll have to jump to the next spot. I'm going to try and do like a figure 8 sort of situation here to try and get everything. Let's see. I have a thought. Let's see if I can figure this out. So there'll be like a few little jumps in the middle, but I'll be like not wasting as much thread, and it's just fun to kind of map out the area before I stitch it. Oh yes, the honeycombs would be super cute as a little needle turn applique, or like a little, if you paper pieced some hexagons there and put them together. All right, I'm gonna go around this next one and we'll come back to the beginning of that one. But look, I just had to make a tiny jump right there. Yeah, our our hospitals, or our centers, or wherever, and insurance companies, they a lot of them now, or maybe it's by region, I have no idea, but by us, there's like a questionnaire online that they have you walk through, I think. And then they know beforehand if you go in. I know, hexies are so fun. I can make Irish soda bread. I have no idea how to make that. You know what? I think we have some flour. I'm not even sure. So I'd have to even look on that. And if we do, it's probably pretty old. But we should do something with it because we don't really use it for anything. Oh, I might run out of thread. I hope I don't run out of thread on these hexagons. I might get pretty close. All right, there. So we went around and did that hexagon on the way. So let's kind of go right. Finish the stitch right here. There we go. And now we can jump up to this one. So yeah, starting in the middle, then you know we'll go around here, and then I'll be back here. And haha, we mapped it out, I think. Mapped it out in a way. Ugh, I don't know if I have enough floss though. Let's see. If not, who cares? I had to split some floss to get these 3 strands. So I'm gonna just rotate here, there. That feels best. Then if I have to start more thread, then oh well. Okay. Definitely don't have baking soda and definitely don't have salt. and I don't have milk. So I have vinegar and I have salt. I don't have the baking soda or the buttermilk or the milk. So I guess I'm not making soda bread. I have vinegar and the salt. That's all I have. And maybe the flour from that list. Ugh. I'll have to see. That's way up high on the shelf. That would be a Sunday project if we have some of that. One cup flour, 1 cup Greek yogurt. We might have Greek yogurt. John likes Greek yogurt around. That'd be fun to try. All right, I can maybe squeeze out some stitches here. I'm back on the original one now. I think if I go one backwards and one forward, this is a way that you can do a back stitch. I think the stitches look not so clean sometimes, but if you're running out of floss like I am, you can do a back stitch and then come up where you started at and go forward. So do a back stitch and then a forward. So now I'm going to do the back stitch. And now I'm going to do it forward. So I got to come up in that hole, which can be a little bit difficult, and then forward. This preserves the floss a little bit longer, so I might have enough to weave in the ends. And I think we got it. Ha ha. All right, so backwards one. Oh shoot! I always do that when I get near the end of my floss. I'm way more prone to pulling the needle out, and I think I have to actually clip these ends so I can thread it a little bit easier. Get a nice edge again there. There we go. All right, so here's that back stitch and forward. Yay! Done with yellow. All right, I'm gonna weave in the ends, and I think we are gonna call it a night there. That is a good stopping point. Finished up the bee, finished the little honeycombs. Feels good. Finish up the yellow. We're done with yellow, and we're done with black, and we're done. Oh no, we're not. There's a little bit more blue hiding out in here. All right, so let's snip that. And there we are for the night. Gosh, that looks even cute just like that. If you didn't stitch anything else and you just stitched the little bee with the honeycombs, that would be legitly done, I think, too. All right, so tomorrow, it's Thursday already tomorrow, so tomorrow, I don't know, I think maybe we start on these vines, like some pretty green. We could kind of just go from one side to the other at this point. Like we could do well, it'd be fun to do the flowers too. All right, I don't know. You'll have to let me know what to work on tomorrow. We could even start with the text too, really. I was thinking, oh, let's do the green. We'll do the text here. We'll do this green. Then we'll come up around here. But now I'm undecided. All right, so we'll decide that tomorrow, I guess. But all right, I'm going to flip you guys around and we will call it an evening here. All right, back at it here. So thank you guys again, and be sure to go to YouTube to click subscribe on the Penguin and Fish movies, and then click that little bell. Then you'll know exactly when I go live. It should be 3 p.m. Central Time CDT on Saturday. So I'm hoping it all goes smoothly. I will send out a newsletter or something about that beforehand and let you know on Facebook as well. And then download that squirrel pattern. It's free, that free squirrel pattern, and we will stitch that up on Saturday on YouTube Live. I think that's going to be fun, and it'll be a new place for all of us to do the lives there. But there we go. Here we are for the night. It is nice and shiny with that thread, looking good. I'm excited for it. We'll keep going. We'll keep going with it tomorrow. Awesome. Thanks again, guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Good night.